wade into the poisonous stream that brought about the Holocaust. It's not surprising that since the Holocaust, German theology especially has worked very hard to clean up the picture of Judas, including the group of Jesuits in Germany who have been leading the attack to make Judas a saint.
The idea of sainthood for Judas may strike many as outrageous. An almost saintly portrait emerges in the Gospel of Judas, a portrait that was lost for 1,700 years, but now, finally, can be unveiled.
That Jesus spoke with Judas 3 days before he celebrated Passover. When Jesus appeared on earth, he performed miracles and great wonders for the salvation of humanity. And since some walked in the way of righteousness, while others walked in their transgressions, 12 disciples were called. Often, he did not appear to his disciples as himself, but he was found as a child among them.
The fact that Jesus appeared as a child on occasion in the Gospel of Judas is, in fact, parallels in other Gospels too. That there is something childlike about Jesus. Sometimes he appeared to be like a child. Sometimes he was the child of God in that kind of literal sense of being childlike.
It's often the case in this text, when it says that Jesus appeared to them as a child, it's not meant to be taken literal. In the beginning of the teaching, he taught them only what they were able to see, and they could only understand the beginning level of his teaching. There's other texts that speak of Jesus appearing in the way that people could recognize him. To some he appeared as a child, to others as a mature man. Because they weren't able to understand him on a deeper level.
The Gospel of Judas uses familiar scenes to convey unfamiliar ideas.
One day, he was with his disciples in Judea, and he found them gathered together and seated in 12 circles. When he approached his disciples, offering a prayer of thanksgiving over the bread, he laughed.
Jesus comes upon the group of disciples when they are celebrating together what looks to be a sacred meal. Maybe it's kind of like the Eucharist. And they're offering a prayer of thanksgiving over the bread, and Jesus laughs. In fact, in the Gospel of Judas, Jesus laughs a great deal.
Jesus issues a challenge to the disciples. He says, let the perfect person inside of you step forward and face me. And that perfect person within is the inner person, the spiritual person that truly knows, the person that ought to have a knowledge of God and a knowledge of himself. And the disciples said, we can do it. Couldn't do it. And so Judas steps forward, and he was able to stand before Jesus.
But he doesn't just stand up. He's also modest. He doesn't stare Jesus in the face, but sensitive to the cultural norms of his time, he averts his glance. So he's got what it takes. He has, you might say, the spiritual backbone to stand up, but he has the good grace and modesty to know his place when he stands before Jesus.
Jesus, if he were like other Jewish teachers, would have probably taught one way to the crowd and other things to his disciples in secret. The Gospel of Mark in the New Testament says exactly.
Contains no crucifixion scene. It ends abruptly with Judas's betrayal
especially my training athletes or my performance athletes and my regular people. Today is a day of preparation. A lot of training coaches and a lot of people like to say periodization, and I've always been on a routine majority of my life from being a young track athlete, and we understand routines and we understand training and peaking and other things and stuff of that particular nature. There's never been a direct or a specific science to that, just because recovery is based on each individual. But even in saying that, there is some things that people can do. Like on Sunday, I work on technical stuff for explosion, things that I may be doing this week. I check my body, I get loose, I stretch, I get started, I work on technique, I listen to my body. It's kind of like I kind of developed that from my days of playing high school, collegiate, professional sports, and mainly football, and just how practice in season, out season. Once again, it's called periodization for in a technical form, just so that we can use the same language from a personal training standpoint. But that's not really true, because everything is in the future. Then you can only understand what's going forward and learn from what you have done. And in me saying that, very few people can remember from a building up strength, power, lifting, technical performance of how they made the path, or how they created the path off of other people's teachings and techniques and stuff, to how they became athletically to their peak. For me, I remember when I used to run 4.6, 4.5 when I was younger. I remember when I ran, I was still kind of fast. I remember some of the things that I've done as a collegiate athlete, high school, professional athlete, along with the science after studying it and everything else, pro bodybuilder. I remember pretty much all of it. I don't have amnesia. I experienced it. So I went from 4.6 to 4.2, 4.3, 43 inch vertical jump, fastest pro agility in the country. I remember what I used to do, how I used to ride in the car with my friends. We go hoop, how I used to run, how we did quickness stuff. So I remember these particular things, my training regimen, and then I can process in my mind as a scientist the things that I did to short myself, the things that I did to flatten or to level out or to stall or to neglect my advancement of my sports and my athletic ability, all the way from injuries to recovery, to torn muscles, to surgeries, to all these particular things. And so I try not to reproduce those things now. And then as a scientist, and as the science has gotten better, and I can relate the science to what it is that I do now, so I know how to recover, how my body should feel. I know what muscle soreness or muscle stiffness, what my body should feel like on Sunday, what my body should feel like on Monday, what my body should feel like on Tuesday, how my body should be loosening up, how my explosion should be doing. I'm in tune with who I am and what it is that I do. Like I try to get my athletes and my clients in tune with it, because your body is your tool. You only get one of these. And as you go forward with injuries and getting older and aging and other stuff, the more in tune you need to be. So that's one of the things that I bring to the table in my training regimen. Not just lifting weights and doing this exercise. What is going to be the long-term repercussion of these things? How are you going to get better by doing these things? How do I translate, or how do I turn snatching this bar up, jumping up with this weight, doing these things into ability, especially as a performance athlete, because there's a lot of weightlifters and power snatchers and deadlifters and other things else that can't run 4.2, that can't perform, that can't play basketball. They don't understand the strength or the conditioning aspect as far as the skill set, or practicing the skill set and things that translate over into the skill set. So it's a big puzzle and a big understanding that has to go over that. Very few people understand how to do that. A lot of people is like the old surgeons, they throw a lot of stuff and hoping that something works. But if you really want to be technical about it, most of them haven't really experienced. A lot of the trainers at these facilities and everything else, they've never ran 4-3. They don't know what it's like to have your legs turn over that fast. They've looked at it. They don't know what it feels like. They've never came out of the gate. They never made a crucial tackle or ran a punt back or have been in the heat of battle and had that adrenaline flowing. They never, been injured and had to play through an injury or play with an injury or anything else like that. Athletes know once the season starts, you're not 100%. They don't have the intestinal fortitude to do that because they never did it. That's why they were trainers. That's why they're on the sidelines. And even some coaches, it's easier to say, oh, go do this and go do that, but they never experienced that. So they have no reference point of any base reality other than what they've seen and never experienced of what they're trying to translate and put over to people. And sometimes it's detrimental because they don't understand it. They don't understand when you need to rest, when you overtraining, when you're doing these particular things. So they have no reference point to these particular things. That's some of the things that I offer different, and some elite level athletes that's done these things, like myself, offer different. We offer real experience, real life experience, and if we've studied it, which I've been fortunate and blessed enough to be able to do it, some real life solutions to how to reach these particular goals and stuff like that. And if you can do it with elite athletes, with people whose body is actually their machine for real, then it's very easy to do with the general public on a scaled down version. You always start with the top of the top, and if you can get that to happen for the top of the top, and you can cause change and other things at the top of the top, then you can always scale it down for ability levels, different things, different setbacks, different injuries, and particular things and stuff like that. Truly, instead of just this guesswork and having people going out here tearing themselves up. I've got 2 parts to these videos that I'm going to post today, just so you can kind of see and kind of explain that every transition going forward, what people call periodization, should be respected and taken into account. You just see all the time the workout parts of it. You don't see the technical parts of what it is that I do, or the science, or the recovery, or the feeling of my body, the evaluation, the technique to getting ready to start off the week, all these particular things and stuff like that has to go into it if you plan to do this with any type of longevity or make true sustaining gains and transformation. I hope this insight in these 2 videos give you an insight into what it takes, especially for you young athletes, and especially for you athletes who are just starting your journey into this body transformation and using your body as a tool to get better, and to get better by conditioning stuff. This is what this stuff is for, is so that you can perform. If you're just here to lift weights, then you can lift all the time, but you got to put that and make it applicable to your sports performance and all the other stuff. And you got to make sure that you make the transitions and all the transitions and periodization and training regimens, from endurance to strength to explosion to whatever it is your sport is, that you periodize all these things in a correct spot, so that you are making gains, not overtraining, not injuring yourself, not tearing yourself up. And that's a hard thing to do, especially if you're just doing it by shooting in the dark without any science, or without anybody who's done it before or who understands how to do it. Once again, truly, it's always better to undertrain than it is to overtrain for me. And not for the fact that I am a lion, so I do like to overtrain, I do like the intensity, I do like to go hard, but the best ability is availability. If you go hard all the time, you're destined to tear yourself up, which you have to sometimes, to some degree, to tear yourself down. But if you're causing long-term injuries, it's going to take you years, like my torn hamstrings, my torn pec, or surgery on my toe. That's going to take you years and you may not ever be the same, and you're going to have these scars that's going to take away from your athletic or your performance, then you might want to reconsider and flirt on the other side of undertraining or training hard to intensity with full recovery, then overtraining and tearing yourself up, because it's not really needed to be great at what it is that you do, because you was blessed and born with a certain ability that most people don't have. That's why you're able to perform, and that's why you're able to be at that particular level at this juncture in your life. My name is Lamont Gilchrist. Hope this video helps. Thanks.